Hi, it's me, your favorite host, Chelle. Before we dive into this episode, I just wanted to let y'all know we recorded this episode way back in September, and it straight up put me in a podcasting funk. I'm not even joking. Didn't want to edit it, didn't want to post it. It was a lot, but I finally persevered. I edited the episode. Better late than never, am I right? Shout out to Whitley because she convinced me into just posting it. We said we were going to do an episode on One Perfect Couple. I just don't feel right not uploading it and getting it out there, even if nobody listens. I do want to let y'all know the audio isn't the best in some parts. There's some echoing, the usual us talking over each other because we're so excited. I'm definitely working on this for season 2. I obviously want the podcast to be absolutely perfect, and I understand sometimes when you're a one-woman band, it's not always that way, especially when you're doing it virtually. Things can get a little wonky, so definitely working on things for season 2. Stick with us, please. But as always, thanks for listening. Let's dive into the episode. Hey y'all, welcome back to today's book. It's me, your host, Chelle, and back with us again is part-time co-host Whitley.
Hey, here we go again.
Back for another episode. We're doing One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. This is for all our thriller babes out there. We're excited about this one. But before we dive into that, we'll be sharing what we've been booked with, the new books we've added to our shelves, our current obsessions, and what we're currently reading. You already know what to do. Get comfy, get cozy, and let's get started.
Well, let's talk about some books. I'm so excited. I need to go on a book buying ban. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. And I bought 2 books yesterday and they just got delivered. They're actually downstairs outside. I got to get them. And I'm like, girlfriend, you need to take a chill.
Are you becoming me?
Yes.
Dude, well, what have you been booked with besides buying books and about to put yourself on a book buying ban?
So, my birthday was last weekend. So I had such an amazing day. I feel like the weekend I was just like busy getting all this stuff done from the things I didn't do on my birthday. And then I've just been getting ready for my cousin's getting married next week. So I am in that wedding. I have all these things. I have all these stupid appointments. I just got my nails done. Look how pretty I did the chrome on Topless Beach.
Wait, where's the wedding?
It's in Maryland, Chesapeake Bay. It's on the water. It's going to be really pretty. So I know she doesn't listen to this, even though she should, but whatever. She doesn't read.
Oh my God. Devin.
I know. She's the worst. But Leo had an allergic reaction, so he had to go to the vet. He actually has to go to the vet tomorrow to get his teeth cleaned. So I feel like I've been at the vet, and then I've been like momming because Peyton is just my little 2-year-old child, just being a 2-year-old.
Oh my God, she didn't call me today. Sad.
We ordered food and went to Jesse's work, so
she was busy.
We were busy, yes.
She was booked and busy.
And work, oh my God, it's been a full moon. Bro, work has been insane. I feel like I've been booked with everything but nothing. I'm ready for the full moon to be over, and I'm ready for the wedding to come so I have some days off of work and I can enjoy my time and maybe buy some books. Probably not. I don't need to buy any books. As you know, I bought way too many books. So
you're on a ban.
Anyways,
hello.
I didn't say it was official.
Oh.
I thought about it.
Well, every time you put yourself on a book buying ban, you buy books, so don't even put yourself on a ban. Well, I'm talking to myself because I'm the only one that's been on a book buying ban, and I usually just buy the books.
Yeah, it's like literally why.
When in doubt, buy the book.
Buy the freaking book. What have you been booked with?
I feel like I haven't really been booked with that much besides work. I've gotten back into tennis a little bit. Freaking, honestly, buying books. I need to stop, just like you. Had a great weekend last weekend doing that. Just being an adult, doing all the adulting things. I just need a break. Sometimes I just need a break from being an adult, and I just want to just like relax and read, rot and read, but
dude,
you just can't do that.
You're preaching in the choir.
I know you have a whole farm, a child, a husband. I just have me, myself, and I in Posey, and I still am like freaking stressed all the time. Like I feel like I don't have enough time in the day.
Thank you. And I'm trying to watch the freaking the Go Girls Guide to Murder show, and it's so good. And how am I going to fit that into my day? Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, so I haven't been booked with much, just like the regular stuff. Okay, so enough about what we've been booked with. What books have you bought recently? Because your birthday just passed. I know you got a bunch and you just bought a bunch of books. So you're going to have to speed through this because I know you have a lot.
Okay, so I'll speed through. Let me talk about the ones I got gifted. Okay, so Jesse got me Flaw, Haunting Adeline 1 and 2. You got me Flawless, and I'm looking for it in my stack. Icebreaker, yes, I was looking for the stack. And then I got Wild Love, Wild Eyes, The Truth About the Devlins, Vicious, Pen Pal, Does It Hurt, Born of Blood and Ash, and A Slow Fire Burning. And wait.
The two that you just got delivered?
Yes. And so I got Master of Salt and Bones and Fear the Flames, which is the one you sent me earlier. It was the green book. Mm-hmm. So everyone's like raving about it. And I'm like, okay, yes, please.
That book is so pretty. I want it I don't want to read it, but it would make a nice addition to the shelf.
I think if I remember correctly, the way it sounds, I don't think you would hate it, but I'll have to see. It's like you bought books for my birthday too, but for you.
I did.
You're celebrating my birthday by buying books.
Yeah. I was like, oh, we're almost a month away from mine. I might as well treat myself.
What'd you buy? You got so many.
I really didn't. I only got 5, I think. So I had to get, I already read Icebreaker. I had to get the physical copy because I have Wildfire, which is the second book, and then I bought Daydream, the third book. I'm like, I can't have an incomplete series. So I had to buy Icebreaker. And I think I'm going to do a reread of that book once you start it. And then I want to do the whole series, and everybody's talking about Daydream. So I'm just like excited. And then I also bought Wrecked by Lauren Asher. It's the third book in the Dirty Air series, and I already have 1 and 2. And then I saw the third one and I was like, I gotta get that. The Final Offer and the Fine Print by Lauren Asher as well, which is another series, but I only got the first and the third book because they didn't have the second book. And then I got another book called When We Were by Deanna Graham. And then I got Losers by Carly LaRoe, which is the first book in a series. And I think that's like one of those dark romance, dirty books. Kind of like on the lines of
50
Credence
Shades
and Flop.
Oh, Credence. Everyone was like, put that on my thing, like of a book I recently bought. People were like, I'm very interested to see what you think. I'm very interested to see what you think. And someone told me that it doesn't need to be as long as it was for what it was, but they said it's good. It's just like, whoa.
Let's talk about what we are currently obsessed with. What are you currently obsessed with? Are you obsessed with anything? Any hyperfixations?
No, it's always new books. I did order some new special edition books. I think that obsession is going to go strong for a while.
Dude, where are you getting these books? Because I want some, but I just get stressed by the World Wide Web.
You have to follow them on Instagram. The Bookish Box is one of them. Owl Crates. Fairy Loot. Because they're all the ones that are like subscriptions, but you can like buy books like by themselves too. I just bought one from the Bookish Box. So special edition books, and I've been hyper fixated on wanting to reorganize my bookshelves. So like I've done little snippets here and there. But there's definitely shelves that I look at. I'm like, I don't love that. I need to fix it. And I will. I just haven't had the freaking time. And I've been obsessed with adding stuff to my house, which is not good because Jesse gets so angry when I get in this change. I need to like change things like lights, fixtures, or like whatever. He gets so upset. I just changed my island pendants. Oh my God, that is so pretty. I'll send you a picture.
Cute.
They're so pretty.
Yeah, send me a picture.
Anyways, that's it. Just me being obsessed with my normal stupid stuff.
Love it. Wait, do you decorate your house for fall?
Yes, and I need to. I need to do it. And I think that's what I'm like. I get stressed when I think about it because it's like taking all the boxes out and doing all the things.
Mm-hmm.
I do, and I have a lot I want to do, so I need to do that. Maybe this weekend.
Maybe before you go get your cousin married.
Walk that little girl down the aisle. Okay, but what about you?
Dude.
You're always changing it up.
Okay, so right now I'm currently still obsessed with Sabrina Carpenter's album, Bedkime.
Yes. Yes.
I am also obsessed with this brand Siete. If you know, you know. I just ate this whole bag right when I got home from work, and I'm obsessed. These replaced hot Cheetos for me because obviously these are way healthier. Huh?
Are they spicy?
They're not like hot Cheetos spicy, but they have a little kick. But they are gluten-free, dairy-free, grain-free, and soy-free.
You got to try the cookies. They have the Mexican shortbread, and then there's like a flour cookie. It's like Mexican birthday. I don't know what it is, but it's so good. So good.
Dude, that brand just came out with new tortilla chips. I have been buying bags like every day, chips and salsa. I'm like, I'm a freaking chip whore. And I really blame my parents because they always had all the chips in the house, in the pantry. And yeah, I've just always been a little snacker.
I mean, I was always fucking snacking, but it was sweets.
Well, that too. Dude, you would be so proud of me. I haven't had sugar since I got back from San Diego. No cookies, no candy, no sweet treats, nothing with added sugars in it. I'm doing so good.
I just finished my birthday cake, so.
Wish I was eating birthday cake, but it feels like it's been a year.
Me and you both, I feel like, snack it up.
Seriously. We love the candy. We love the chips. We love the sweet treats. Gimme that. That reminds me of that one song. I put that sugar on my tongue. Yippee, yum, yum. Giddy, giddy, yum, yum.
That's a good ass song.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so that's really my obsession. Siete brand. Hit me up with some free chips if you want. Just kidding. I will always. Sponsor us. We've been yapping way too much. We got to wrap this shit up, Whitley. So tell me what you're currently reading.
So I just finished Belladonna, which is the first book of the series. I am now reading the second book of the series, which is Foxglove. It is so good. Like I'm into it. This is definitely better than the first. So I'm excited. And then I get to read Wisteria after, and then on to the next.
Do you think I'm going to like this series? Because the plan was for me to read that series too, and we were going to potentially do some episodes on it. But when I saw your review for Belladonna,
I have not formally reviewed it on the gram.
I know, but I saw
what I said on my story.
Yeah, I saw a little snippet and it got me a little worried. So I'm like, dang, I don't really know if I want to read these. But well, I'm just so glad I didn't buy them yet, even though they are really pretty books. But I'm like, oh, they're on Kindle Unlimited.
Only Belladonna is, not the first,
only
second,
Belladonna. Okay, well, I will rent it from the library. I don't know.
Well, so no, but they're so pretty. I think you would like Foxglove, which is currently what I'm reading. So it kind of has a little bit of like mystery vibes because they're like trying to solve murders and stuff and like these things that are happening, right? But it has like this gothic dark theme.
Are there any dragons?
No, it's nothing like that.
Then
So
it's just
it's more like Bridgerton vibes. Do you like Bridgerton?
never seen it.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Miss Romance?
Bro, I don't have time to watch television.
Based on books.
I haven't read the books either.
The books are good. Bridgerton is no, but I know people talk about them. But the show is great. But no, Bridgerton is amazing. And it's like, anyways, it's like that, but in a gothic type of vibe with a little bit of fantasy. That's what it's like. That's how I would describe it. I think that, do you like those types of like back in the day type of things?
I don't know. I don't think
I
so.
don't think you'll like it. I don't know if you would like Belladonna because I think the reason I like it has that Bridgerton vibes with the gothic vibes of it and then the little fantasy type of in it. So it makes me love it. But you don't like gothic stuff like that.
I don't think I've ever read any gothic type book. Maybe I'll just read a chapter of Belladonna, see if I'm into it. Well, I got to finish it because I don't DNF books, so I'm going to be stuck reading it.
But you can't read just the first chapter. I don't even remember what the first chapter was.
Dude, if I read it, I'm going to read the whole book.
You're going to read chapter 1 and you can't stop at chapter 1? Dude, DNF a book. There's too many books in the world. You could die tomorrow and not read the books you really want to read.
Okay, way to make this depressing.
Am I honest or am I honest? Life's too short to not DNF a book.
Well, that doesn't work for me. Sorry. I'm not DNFing, okay?
I'll just be on my little deathbed like, ooh, I got to read this book, this book, this book. And you know, I'm still reading this stupid fucking book.
Yeah, beach read. No.
I don't know why you didn't like that I loved it. I actually see what you're talking about, like how you're kind of like bored, but like I loved it. And maybe it was because I was in that mood. I don't know. I loved it. So
Yeah.
many people loved it too. So it's not just me.
I know we talked about that last episode. They're probably tired of us talking about Betrayed.
Maybe you'll get Bell down and we'll see. But what are you reading? Tell us all, please. Because you say, okay, let me just start this before I ask this question. You always are like, oh, I want to read this book. I want to read this book. I want to read this book. Oh, maybe I'll read this book. And you just read these random ass fucking books that I've never heard of in my life. And I'm like, what is she fucking reading? Okay, now please tell us what you're reading.
Dude, I have a forever endless TBR. It's so funny. Like, I have almost 2,800 books on my want to read on Goodreads. Like, okay. Like, good luck, sister.
Dude,
One,
you
I
do
will do it.
random books on there. Like, I mean,
I do.
everybody does. But yours is like 10 at a time.
No, I'll be at Barnes and Noble and I'll see a book and I'll be like, well, I don't need to buy that yet, but I can put it on my want to read, save it for next time. You know, I just be browsing, girl.
Bless.
Seriously. Okay, so on the last episode, I was reading Her Greatest Mistake by Hannah Cowan, and then I finished Her Greatest Adventure, which is the second book, and now I'm on the third book, His Greatest Muse. So I'm just like flying by in that series because the fourth book comes out in October, the first week of October. So I'm like, I got to be ready for it. I've never been really a mood reader. I can just pick up a book and start it. But after reading like back to back to back romance books, I'm like, dang, I need to slip in a little thriller. And I just need a little thrill chill up in here.
Yeah,
So
you do.
I really do. So I need a little thriller to wind me up a little bit in a different way. Wind me up,
Yes.
get me scared, get me nervous, get me anxious. So that's what I'm currently reading. So I think it's time for us to finally dive into One Perfect Couple. I guess I should preface too, this episode is going to have spoilers. So if you haven't read the book, you want to read this book, nix this right now because
Yeah.
we're going to be
We're gonna be
spoiling. We're going
talking.
to yapping, deep diving. I'm just going to do a little light trigger warning for this episode. We've got some intimate partner violence, some physical and emotional abuse, violent death, murder, and suicide. So if those are triggering kind of themes, topics for you, maybe skip out on this one. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the book.
Tell us, please.
Yeah.
Enlighten us all.
One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. It's a suspense thriller that follows Lila Santiago, a virology researcher who reluctantly joins her boyfriend Nico on a reality TV show set on a remote Indonesian island. Picture this: romance, survival, and a whole lot of drama as the contestants face wild natural disasters and some seriously shady behavior. Lila has to navigate not just the challenges of the show, but also her own doubts about her relationship with her boyfriend Nico. It's a wild ride full of secrets, suspense, and the messy complexities of love and trust.
Dude, this was a wild ride. And let me just say, this was my first Ruth Ware book, and it did not disappoint. First, I was a little hesitant. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. This seems like a 3-star. But then it picked up, and I was like, oh, shit. People are dying. People are starving. Like, we're losing them left and right. What's going on here? Okay, but have you read any of her other books? Like, is this typical for her?
Yes, I read The Lying Game by her, which was published in 2017, but it's another suspenseful thriller about 4 friends who are reunited by a long buried secret that resurfaces, threatening to unravel their lives as they confront the lies they told in their youth. And
oh shit,
yeah, I gave it 4 stars.
I've heard that her books are very like suspenseful and like thriller and like a lot of shit happens.
Well, that's the only other book that I've read by her, so I can't attest to any of her other ones, but I do have a couple of her other books. I think I have 0 Days, and that's
I have
it.
One by One.
Oh, you do?
Or, yeah.
Do I have The It Girl? I think I have The It Girl too. I think I tried to read. Did I try and read The Woman in Cabin 10? I don't think so.
That sounds familiar to me. Did I read that?
I think I get that one mixed up with The Girl on the Train because the covers kind of look similar. I don't know.
Anyways.
And what did you end up rating the book?
It was a wild ride, but it was really good. Like, I gave it 4 stars. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What were your initial impressions?
Dude, I remember texting you and I was like, bro,
yeah,
I don't know about this book. I'm iffy. What are we reading? Like, these characters are so annoying. And then, dang, once we got to the island, once that storm hit, I was like, oh, shoot, this ain't no shit show anymore.
Yeah, people dying. And
Right.
it's not just the one person. Like half of the people that were on that island died. I forgot to ask you, what did you rate this book? I feel like I don't remember.
Well, I was going to give it a 3. I was like, oh, this is going to be 3 stars. Let me just read my Goodreads review.
Okay, let's do that.
When I first started this book, I was so iffy and immediately like 3 stars. Thought the MCs were annoying, but then it started to go down on the island and I was into it. So many unexpected things happened that I didn't see coming and I was like, dang, okay, 4 stars. Yeah, this was definitely a good book to just pick up, read leisurely. Okay, so we have the 2 main characters. Well, the FMC Lila and then her boyfriend Nico. It's kind of them talking, like being together in the beginning of the book. And I was just so annoyed with her boyfriend. I was like, who is this sloth?
I know he was. He was like the guy who like ultimately like it's gonna work out and never does.
And I was just like, oh my God, he sounds like such a loser.
Dude, yes.
That's
He
so
really
mean, but he
was.
did. But like he was an up and coming actor, model, whatever you want to call it, trying to kick off his acting career. But I think he was 28 and she was maybe a little older.
I think she was like 30, 32 or something like that.
I was just so annoyed with their relationship. And then just the whole beginning of the book, I was like, what the F is this? And I'm like, what's going to happen? So then we finally get into it. And he really wants her to come on this reality show with him, which is One Perfect Couple. They go to this island, whatever. He's like, oh my God, I need a vacation. But she's like, oh my God, I got to do her virology shit.
She was basically really reluctant to go on the show. Was it worth it? Did she need this? No, but she did it for Nico.
She did it for her man, as we do.
I mean, but you're like, when she was like, I know. When she was having her internal dialogue, you're like, girl, why are you doing this for him? Like, what does he do for you? Let's be honest.
I'm just like, why are you even with him?
She said that he was extra hot and like she was not.
She was,
basically. So she was in him for his looks,
I guess. So the dating show is set remote island, and the premise of the show requires the couple to change partners when one of them is eliminated, which I guess, so Baz, he's the producer, and he didn't really give all the details of the show and what the dynamic of the show and everything. So they're finding this all out when they're already in Indonesia, when there's no turning back.
Yeah, and he was very questionable from the beginning.
Right. Even when they were interviewing for the show.
Yeah.
And so then they had to give up all their electronics. So that was wild. Lila thought she was going to be working, doing her work while she was there on her computer. And he was like, no, not happening.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the beginning of the book. They get to the island, you meet all the contestants, get to know each other. So
we have Lila and Nico, which are like the 2, I guess. Then we have Connor and Zana or Zaina. I'm going to say Zaina.
Zana. And Connor, he's a YouTuber. And Zana is, I don't even know what she does. I think she was a model
like a model. Yeah, she was a model. And then we have Dan and Santana, which Dan is secretly gay because he was trying to win it, obviously, for the money. And then there's Bayer and Angel.
Is Angel the one that wanted to be like a NASCAR or F1 racer or something? And then Bayer owns the gym?
Formula One. Yes. And then there's Rami and Joel. And
I forgot about them.
Well, because but Joel's he's there for a little bit, but Rami, because she dies literally right away.
And
she's the first casualty.
And she was a makeup and style influencer, and Joel is a fellow academic, kind of a shy guy, similar to Lila. So they kind of connected in the beginning. And I feel like Rami was a little jealous at that.
She was jealous just in general.
Yeah.
And then I guess the only other character that really matters, like, I mean, there's obviously a little bit more, and then there's Baz, who you mentioned earlier, who is like the producer of the show. And he obviously is a big part towards the end. So Connor's number 1 villain, he was a interesting character from the start. Obviously, his character develops a lot throughout the book. Yeah.
Intensely.
He is the number 1 villain. We're just going to say that.
And I was just not expecting the way that this book went. I wasn't expecting that at all. But I do have a question. So if you were not married, would you ever go on a dating reality show?
No, you know
Why?
me. Think about that.
Oh yeah, you don't
Me-
like to talk. You
I-
don't like people.
I'm also like such a non-risk taker. I am so structured and organized and detailed. Just the idea of the unexpected would stress me the fuck out the entire time, that I would just like die because I wouldn't know what to do. Like
Okay,
seriously. But I know,
dramatic.
but it's funny because if I was going to ask you the same question, I feel like you 100% would.
You think I would?
You would. Don't even lie.
I mean,
You
I
would
don't
do
know
it.
if I would go on something like this. Like, I don't want to go to a remote island. Like,
But the
so this-
idea, you would do it.
actually, I go back and forth because my friends have asked me. They're like, "Oh my god, you would be so good on a dating show." And I'm like, one, I ain't gonna be fine for no man like that with a bunch of other girls.
Dude, but you would do it. You would do it.
True. The dating show. What's the one where they don't see each other until they're at the altar, basically?
Oh, the Married at First Sight?
Yes, I would not freaking do that at all.
Okay. Yeah, no. Like I said,
No way.
the unexpected, no, I'm out.
If I was a bachelorette, maybe.
You would do it. The fact that it crosses your mind as a possibility, you would do
It crossed my mind. I just am thinking like, oh, if I was poached for the opportunity, would I do it? Maybe.
it. LOL.
This book was really giving like the one dating show that everybody's obsessed with, like Love Island, kind of vibes.
Survivor. Yeah.
Survivor, yeah.
Those are like
mix of
definitely the
those two.
vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted to ask about you potentially going on a dating show because
Yeah.
that would be so funny.
Dude, can you imagine me on a dating show? Let's be honest.
You would be so awkward.
Dude, I would be so awkward and so stressed. I cannot. Yeah, just the thought of me in that situation makes me want to cringe and hide, so I'm out.
Okay, so no dating reality shows for Whitley in the near future.
No.
Woo, this book had some suspense, so let's get into the nitty gritty.
And yeah, real fast. Nico gets cut, freaking, then the storm comes through, and what's her name? Rami dies, and I'm like, oh God,
And
here
the
we go.
What did you think when Nico got eliminated?
I'm not kidding. My mouth was like, oh shit, that just changes everything. I did not expect that at all. And I was like, and he went off. I was like,
He was like, oh
okay,
my
piece
God,
of shit.
Lila,
Yeah.
you planned this, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, oh,
And
yeah,
like
he's
goes
definitely
against
28.
her. Yes, and it's like she did this for you, and like he like blamed her for him getting cut, and it's like, what the heck? Sorry, you don't know your own girlfriend. Basically, guys, as a little
Right.
preface, they had to answer questions about each other. Whoever was like the winner gets to stay in like the nice house, and then whoever's a loser gets eliminated. So Lila knew her Nico the best, so she won. But Nico didn't know, he knew her the worst, so he got eliminated. Then
Freaking
basically,
loser.
yeah, and so he went off on her, and it was intense. And I was not, that like changed the whole book for me.
And it was crazy. So there was a freaking severe storm and it damaged the entire island. And so Lila and Joel, they got to stay in like honeymoon suite. So they are in that little hut while the storm's happening. Everybody else is in the other villas, whatever. And Lila like goes to see what's popping off. And I'm like, Lila, why are you going out into the storm, bro?
Dude, she stressed me out, bro. I'm like,
Seriously.
just stay in the house.
Right. And then she comes back and wakes up Joel. And then the next morning they go searching and they find Joel's girlfriend.
Crushed by a tree.
He's devastated.
Yeah,
Lila was
it
like,
was
what
awkward.
the hell? And then
Bury them and shit. Like, that
Yeah.
was so awkward.
and then she found the producer dead too. I was just
What a-
like, dang. And then
Dude,
it's
and-
crazy because we don't know what happened because the ship left to take Nico back and the producer was on that and basically half of the other workers that were working on the show. And so they don't even know what happened to the boat. And then all the cast members are still here on this island with the one producer that's dead.
They lost all
have-
communication. They
Yeah.
had the radio, but like obviously they didn't get any response.
Yeah.
And they had all the snacks. They just had like their little snacks and the whatever waters were left over, and like the structures were crap. Like basically everything was damaged. There was no like sound structure. So they were like staying staying in these damaged little huts. And I think they determined that they only had like, what was it, 4 or 5 weeks of like food and water between all of them. Obviously that changed because Connor decided to be a psycho and just take everybody's water and food and hide it and be a crazy bitch. But
Dude, Connor was something else.
dude, did you pick up on like the little hints, the subtle hints that like Boz, something was wrong with him, something was wrong with Connor, something was wrong with Xana? Or did you like it take time for you to like be like, okay, fuck, like he's bad? Because right off the bat, like Connor never was a good guy.
Yeah. Well, I had my suspicions because he was kind of weird. And I was like, something's up with him. But I didn't think he was going to end up killing freaking everybody and hoarding all the food and the water like a freaking freak of nature.
I remember when it started to do that too. I was like, dude, like, why is he even doing that? Like, why is he even trying to like take everybody's water and like fight with them? He's a lot. What was your favorite part of the book?
Dang, I don't even know. Actually, my favorite part was when Xana finally grew a pair and freaking hit her boyfriend. I don't even remember what did she hit him with a rock or a water bottle or something?
It was like I remember being like a stick thing, wasn't it?
I don't know. She hit him in the head with something and then he was in the water all of a sudden and then she jumped in to try and drown him and I'm like, finally, Xana, finally. And don't forget, Xana has a fear of water.
Yeah.
So I was just like, let's go.
She deserved it.
Xana,
She
because
deserved it.
I was freaking
That
over
was a
her.
good part. Yeah, because she was just cowering and like obviously she was being physically and emotionally abused to
Right, which was sad.
Yeah, so we obviously figured that out. But there were parts when I wanted to scream at her, like, girl, grow a pair. But I know obviously it was because of the abuse. But that was a very validating part.
And she was super young too, younger than him. She's got a thing for them young ones.
The easy ones to manipulate, basically.
Yeah, because we also find out that Connor dated the producer's niece when she was 17 and he was in his early 20s. And then she ended up committing suicide a couple of years later after they broke up. And I'm just like, okay, this is obviously a pattern. We find out Baz created this dating show basically to sabotage Connor.
His reputation, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was tied to Connor in some sort of way, whether it be his ex-girlfriend, his YouTube show, hence like Rami was the influencer. He had like hurt her in the past, like basically tried to ruin her reputation. I think Santana's friend was the girl that committed suicide, his ex-girlfriend. And then
I think Lila was connected just by
someone dropped out. Remember, a couple dropped out, and so the feminism, like the feminist bill or whatever. And I think that was my favorite part, is when that all came together as like why the show was so unstructured and why it was kind of like there wasn't like really sound structure. All these things that you would expect to be like nicked in the butt, like it wasn't, obviously, because he was just in it just to ruin Connor. That was my favorite part, because I was like, oh, thank God.
Which is crazy because Connor doesn't even get ruined at the end, although he does die, but
they paint him as a good guy.
Yeah, which, oh my God, that really, okay, so let's talk about things we didn't like. That's one of the things that I did not like. Connor being made out to be this great guy because, so in the book, which this really tripped me out, actually, is Xana's diary. So Xana started writing a diary, and so we're hearing about how everything's playing out, and then we get a diary page from Xana, and it's the complete opposite. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
She's lying, of like something goes down and she's basically lying, and you don't know why, obviously, because it's throughout the story.
Right. And we don't find out until the end that she's writing these diary entries to basiscally save herself because she's the one that killed Connor and she doesn't. Bitch, you're not going to get in trouble. Like, nobody's going to know. Who is going to know? Who's going to tell? None of the girls are going to tell. So I'm just like, that part kind of annoyed me, whatever. But the diary was a good aspect. It did have you like, what the heck is going on? Like, who's lying? Something's not right.
Someone's got to fucking lie because some shit went down and we don't know what.
Right. So what did you not like about the book?
I mean, I really just didn't like Connor. Not that I would like change him, but God, I loathed him the entire time. I was like, dude, why is he being such a dick? I think what if I was like to change the book, it was definitely the beginning because it had like a slow kind of like, I don't want to say uninteresting, but kind of like blah start where I
Yeah.
was like, what's happening? I mean, it makes sense for the story.
Right, because there's this couple and the boyfriend wants to go on the dating show to get his career going, yada, yada, yada. But I'm like, they were just annoying characters.
And you couldn't see where they were going. And then
Right.
obviously it changed. But I think, yeah, because it was really weird. But I mean, I obviously I'm not a writer. I don't know, or author. I don't know how I would change that. But I just, it definitely was slower in the beginning. And I'm not going to lie, all the deaths stressed me out. Everyone dying. I was like, dude, okay, so they're going to die. All right, she's dead. Like, I'm just like, fuck, okay, everyone's dead. Who's going to be at the end?
Connor was nixing everybody. He was like, oh,
Dude.
one down.
He stole Santana's like type 1 diabetes. She's type
No,
1
Joel
Well, he's-
stole that.
for Connor. And then
Freaking Joel. No
killing-
backbone.
No,
Loser.
didn't Connor. We don't really know what happened to Joel, but I think he committed suicide or someone killed him. It was kind of like up
It was
for
either Connor or he committed suicide, but
Yeah.
I think Connor definitely killed Joel. Like, why would he commit suicide?
He used him for the meds, and then he was like, all right, bro, I don't need you anymore. And so basically the whole thing was like Connor's way of like killing people and like keeping all the food and water for himself. He was a psychopath, bro.
And that reminds me that one time he comes out and Lila's like, oh my God, we're so dehydrated. And he makes them climb the trees to get coconuts in order for them to get water.
Yeah.
Bro, if I was on that island, I would lose it.
Dude,
like,
would literally murk him. Like, I don't
me
even
too. I would have been killed his ass.
But do
Oh
you
my God.
remember
Am I allowed to say that? I like, I would not. But
But then he's stressful because remember when him and Dan got in a fight and he killed Dan?
yes, exactly. So I'm like, dang. But okay, so it was Lila, Santana, Angel, Zana, 4 girls. You know what he was using to catch the fish or whatever? I would have took that and I would have freaking slung it at him in the jugular. Like, you're done.
I would have fucking shoved a pillow over him while he's sleeping. And
I know,
Zana.
Zana, what were you doing, bruh?
She was scared, bro. She was scared.
Let's discuss some of these book questions. So, Lila and Nika's relationship is set up as loving but slightly flawed from the moment we meet them. While Lila loves his eternal optimism, she's beginning to worry about their long-term prospect. Between all their differences, what do you think each of them sees in each other?
So I think Lila likes his looks because that's talked about many times, right? But I think she likes that he's so carefree and like can just kind of go with the flow because she's 100% not that. So I think that definitely like draws her to him. And she mentions like that was like fun in the beginning of their relationship. Now she's over it.
Right, because she wants to like be married and have a family.
Yeah. And then like him, I think it's the opposite. Like he's drawn to her because she is so like knows what she's gonna do with her life. She's structured. She's like stable. You know, she's smart. Like I feel like they both are drawn to what they're not.
Right.
At least that's what I got. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that you said. I think they each have their strength and they're attracted to the strengths that they don't have. So, like you said, Lila likes how he's more carefree and has an outgoing personality. She was more of the homebody, had the job, was getting her PhD or some shit. I don't fucking know. Oh, well, she already had her freaking PhD. Oh, yeah, they kept calling her a doctor. She was like, I'm not a doctor.
You think about like I'm just a PhD doctor.
Yeah, so she was just super smart, had her shit going on, and he was a starving artist. She had stability, he didn't.
He was waiting for his big break that never came because guys, he RIP passed away as well.
He did. But he was on the ship because he was going back home because he got eliminated in the tropical storm. Who knows what happened to that ship, but it's long gone.
Yeah, well, basically all the guys died. Even Baz didn't survive. The only girl that died was Rami, and obviously the producer,
Yeah.
But she wasn't like a main character person.
Well, she was kind of spazzy too. I felt like she didn't know what the F was going on.
No, it wasn't. No, that wasn't the one who died. She was on the ship.
Oh.
It was just a random producer girl.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now I have a question for you. This one I think is interesting because I find Connor such an interesting character. From the moment we meet him, Connor makes an interesting impression. What was your initial reaction to him? Did his behavior leading up to the cast's arrival on the island set off any alarm bells for you? And if so, how?
My initial reaction to Connor was I was unsure. So I knew he was the YouTuber and I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever. But then as the story went on, I was just like, something's not right. But I couldn't put my finger on it. But I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this guy. I was going back and forth when first couple of days after the storm, he was like being like, oh, we got to do this, like really trying to
Take the
have
lead.
a plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this guy's going to lead us to, well, not lead us, but like lead them, lead, lead them to survival. And then that took a turn. I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't have everybody's best interests. So my first impression of him was very skeptical. I don't remember. So it says his behavior leading up to the cast's arrival on the island set off any. I don't remember meeting him before they were all together.
Remember when they were meeting him on the boat and he was like a dick? I feel like he was a dick. He had like this I'm too good for you kind of vibe in the beginning, like on the boat before they got to the island. He was like too good to
that.
to
They're talking about
them.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you that I was very skeptical of him because it was always like he was bad, but then he was good. He was bad, and he was good. Like he was faking his, he was putting on a front, of course, because he was. Because in all, he's a shitty ass person, as we find out.
Seriously.
Yeah, he was always definitely a wild card.
Yeah, and he ended up being a draw 4. Draw 4. We're playing it over here. No.
Here we go. Oh,
Dude, yeah, so Connor
was a bitch.
he ain't it. Oh, and that leads to the next question. As their days on the island grow more fraught, Connor's terrifying personality begins to take shape. Which of his outright actions or his machinations behind the scenes felt more sinister to you? When was the aha moment that he was not at all the person the reader and the cast initially thought he was? I mean, I guess we kind of talked about that.
I think for like kind of the big, when I was like, okay, he's not okay, it's basically when he started taking the food. And once he took the food from like the food hut or whatever into his little house over on the other island and was like giving people rations, I was like, okay, you're not trustworthy because I wouldn't trust you with my food at all. And obviously then he stole the medicine and I'm like, nah, fuck this guy. He's out.
Yeah. And after he moves the food in the water, that's when Bear confronts him, like, bro, what are you doing? And that's when Connor kills Bear. And then I was like, okay.
Was Bear the gay one, right? Yes. Okay, because that's when he basically disappears.
Bear was not the gay one.
Dan was the gay one.
Bear is the fitness guy.
Oh, yeah. And then it was because Dan too, like tried to confront him, and then basically was like went off and got killed by him too. Everybody just got killed by Connor.
Yeah, and then they find out that Connor most likely killed Dan because Lila found Santana's insulin in Dan's hand when they were going to bury him, and so Lila finds out that Dan actually did confront him because Connor lied and was like, oh no, I haven't seen Dan. Liar.
Piece of shit. And just to kind of wrap it up with our questions, I have one more question to kind of finalize the ending of the book, or sum up the ending of the book. So while they were trapped for a few weeks, the return to civilization was just as jarring as the drama that unfolded. If you found yourself in that situation, what might you miss most or be most excited about if you were returning from a deserted island? What would be the hardest to adjust to?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, that depends on what I was able to bring with me on the island. You know, I would be most excited to see my friends and family again. Like, I thought I was going to die on this freaking remote island. I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy to still be alive. I had to give away my electronics. I would definitely be excited to have those back. My cell phone, my iPad, my Kindle. Like, did they let me keep my Kindle? I don't know. I feel like they would let me keep my Kindle because I wouldn't be able to communicate with anybody, but I would be most excited for that. And oh my God, probably like food.
And water.
And water, because what the heck? They were eating like bananas and freaking
coconut bread, and like the snacks. There was like chips or
Yeah.
something, like craft food, like nothing substantial.
Right. So I would be so excited about food, just like civilization,
Yeah.
but that would also be, I
Kinda
don't think I
hard.
would have a hard time adjusting. I think I would just go back into it full force because I'd be like, dang, I was missing life. Like, I don't have to survive anymore.
Dude, I feel like that I do agree with you though. Like I feel like I would be so excited about food and water first, then probably like my electronics and my books and Kindles and stuff, and then friends and family. But I feel like I'd be the opposite with the civilization because I feel like I would be like nervous and like to jump back in because like people obviously like people I don't know what I just went through and they're gonna act like
Right.
nothing, like I don't know, it's kind of weird. I feel like I would just be kind of like, I don't want to go out, I want to stay and snuggle in my bed. I don't know.
I mean, when I talk about like going back into civilization, I just mean like going back to my everyday life, like being in my house again, getting
Okay.
acclimated to like my routine, but I'm not like going out and partying.
Dude, okay, I thought you were talking about going to clubs. Just kidding.
I'm
Like
trying to go to
bars
the
and shit.
club. I'm like, first night back home, I'm at the club.
Give me a drink, shot,
Right.
shot.
Oh,
Oh,
dude.
bless. Dude, no, I would be so like traumatized from the stress. I feel like it'd be just so much.
Seriously, that type of stuff definitely changes you.
Dude, and they lost so many people. Like, not only did she lose Nico, but she lost all these people that she like met and like had connections with. Like, Dan, she had a connection with. She did have one for Joel in the beginning. She
Yeah.
thought they were like, but then he was like a freak.
Honestly, I thought Lila and Joel, something was going to
Same.
happen there.
Same.
And then it didn't. And I was just like, dang. Okay.
They would have been a good boring couple.
Right. I was like, what are these academia freaks going to talk about?
Are we going to talk about books or their
Right.
doctorate? All in all, though, I really enjoy this book. I would definitely recommend it for anyone who loves a good suspense or thriller. Like, this was it. You just got to give it a chance because it's a good one.
Right. Yeah. The beginning is a little slow. So you just got to power through the annoyingness of Lila and Nico. And then we get to the island and it goes down. Yeah, I think I would recommend. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was just like somewhere in the middle. Like, would I pick this book up again? No. Am I happy that I read it? Not really, but it's a sick covered book.
It's a good cover. I'm happy I read it. Like, that's kind of a cool idea. Like, it's not a typical book that I read.
Yeah.
Like on a desert island and then you like all that happens, but it's like modern day. I don't know.
It was a cool concept. Like I said, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but it looks nice on my shelf. So that's a
Yeah, it is
win-win
cute.
for me.
Yeah, it is a good cover. But I do know, also, I've seen a lot of people talk about this book that have read a lot of Ruth Ware books, and they said this is not a typical book like hers.
Yeah.
They love all her books, and they said this one's good. This is a consensus, right? But a lot of people said this is very different from her normal. So that's interesting. So I would definitely read another Ruth Ware book for sure.
Yeah, like the one that I had mentioned earlier, complete opposite from remote island love show type of thriller. But I haven't really read a book like this before.
Yeah.
So it was a cool concept, a cool plot. But I think the beginning could have been a little better. Like, I almost feel like I wish it would have started off with us on the dating show, like already on the remote island and then getting introduced to the characters, yada, yada, yada. Like, I didn't need all the fluff about Lila and Nico in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, it was boring.
Maybe if she did like a future, like a present day, and then like went back to a little bit about them and then kept going, like I think that would be better.
Yeah.
To keep you like hooked in the beginning, basically.
Right, because I was not hooked in the beginning. I think that's a wrap on this episode. We hope y'all enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little chaotic. We were a little all over the place with One Perfect Couple, but
it was fun because it's not a typical book that are people talking about right now. So it's nice. It's like interesting. And most people I asked on my Instagram haven't heard of this book. So
yeah,
there you go.
it was a nice little change to do a thriller since we're always yapping about our little rom-coms.
All in all, though, let us know if you like it. Comment, like, subscribe, do all the things that help us in the long run because we're trying over here.
Yeah, y'all gotta give us some feedback. We hope y'all enjoyed this episode. If you're not already, make sure you're following Today is Booked on Instagram and TikTok. And you can follow Whitley at books.with.wit
on Instagram and TikTok as well. Whitley, you need to change that name. That is so hard to say every time.
It's because somebody has books with wit without the dots. I hate it.
As always, thank y'all for listening. Thanks for all the support. Make sure you rate the podcast on Spotify and Apple. And, provide some feedback if you have any feedback, if you have any special requests on episodes you would like to hear in the future, because season 1 is going to be wrapping up soon. Remember,
Today's book.
and tomorrow isn't looking good either.